2.5, solve equations with variables on both sides. Now the variable, here's my little line where I'm trying to keep it balanced. I have variables on the opposite side of the equation now. How would I shift a variable from the left side to the right side? I would shift it the same way that I would shift a number. Let's start by shifting the negative 17 over to the 7. Well, how would I move that across the equal sign? I do the opposite. The opposite of negative 17 is positive 17. And those cancel, and we have 4x equals 7 plus 17 is 24 minus 8x. Now I would like to shift the negative 8x over to the 4x. How do I shift it? By using the opposite. I'm not trying to solve right now. I'm still trying to simplify on the same side, on the opposite side. If I want to shift any term at all, I do the opposite. The opposite of negative 8x would be positive 8x. I'm going to add 8x to the left side of the equation, and I'm going to add 8x to the right side. A negative 8x and a positive 8x cancel, and we're left with 24 equals 4x plus 8x is 12x. Now that I'm all simplified and I have all my variables combined, I'm ready to start solving. So first we need to simplify, then we solve. I am going to solve for x. It's being multiplied, so I divide by 12. I'm solving. And I get x equals 2. Example 2, solve. Here we go. The first thing I need to do is I need to get rid of these parentheses. We're going to distribute 1/4 x. If I make this a fraction, I can see that 4 can go into 16. And so when I cross cancel, I don't want to cross it out because I've got to use it again. I'm just going to lightly do it. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 16 4 times. That's 4x. Positive times a positive is still positive. And now, make 60 a fraction. Can 4 go into 60 evenly? 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 60. Let's see. It goes in 1 time, and there's 20 left over. So 15. 4 goes into 60 15 times. I'm still simplifying right now. There's my equal sign. I'm still simplifying. I need to combine my x's on the same side of the equation. Is there a way that you should be moving them? Is there one that's better than the other? I always look at my x's first. If I was to bring my 9x over to the 4x, that would be minus 9x, and that would give me negative 5x. I try to avoid having negative x's. I can still work with them. It's not that you can't work with them. It's just I would like to make my life a little easier. So the first thing that I look for is which way should I move my x? And you always want to bring the smaller x over to the bigger x. So I'm going to, the opposite of a positive 4x is a negative 4x. I'm shifting this to the other side of the equation by using the opposite, minus 4x. 4x minus 4x cancels, and we get 15 equals 9x minus 4x is 5x. Then I still have minus 5. Now I have a two-step equation, and I'm ready to solve. I start by undoing subtraction first by using the opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. 5x equals 20, and now dividing by 5. The opposite of multiplying by 5 would be to divide by 5. And we get that x equals 4. Example 3, we're going to start with the distributive property. So we have 5z minus 2 equals 2 times 3z is 6z. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And now I'm ready to start shifting and collecting my z's on the same side of the equation. I'm going to move the smaller z over to the larger z. So to shift the 5z across the equal sign, I'm going to do the opposite. The opposite of 5z is negative 5z. the same thing to the other side of the equation so that it is balanced. We get -2 equals 6z minus 5z is 1z. All right, now I have all my z's collected. I'm ready to start solving. I'm going to start by adding 8 to both sides, and I get that z equals 6. All right, one solution would be a problem like this. There's one solution, x equals 4. That's it. There's nothing else. It's one solution. So these are all examples of one solution. Infinite number of solutions means that any number I pick is going to work in that equation when I check it. No solution means that I cannot substitute in one number and it will work. There's nothing out there that I can substitute in to give me a true equation. What does one solution mean? Let's take a look and see what happens for one solution. I'm going to do the distributive property on both sides. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 4 is 12. Equals 6 times 5x is 30x. And 6 times 2 is 12. All right, I'm going to shift my smaller x over to my bigger x. I'm going across the equal sign. I'm going to do the opposite to shift the 6x. We get 24x plus 12 is 12. And now I'm going to ready to start solving. Everything's simplified. All my x's are collected to one side of the equation. I'm going to subtract 12, and I get 24x equals 0. And then divide by 24, and we get x equals 0. There's one solution. As we could see on the other page, one solution just means you're getting one answer. X equals 2, x equals 4, z equals 6. These are still one solution. Just because I get a 0 doesn't mean that's what I'm going to get every time it's a one solution. What does an infinite solution mean? All right, distributive property, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1, plus 2x equals, distributive property again, 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 2 is 4, and then I have a plus x. Distributive property stopped here. This x is not included in the distributive property. Now I would like to simplify terms before I start shifting them on the equal sign. What can I add over here? I'm going to put my terms next to each other. So I have 3x, and then I have a positive 2x, positive 3, positive 1, equals 4x. I'm going to move this x, the commutative property, over next to the x, plus 4. All right, so I could do 3x plus 2x is 5x. 3 plus 1 is 4 equals 4x plus x equals 4x. No, 4x plus 1x equals 5x. And then plus 4. What I can see here so far for an infinite solution is that I have exactly the same thing on both sides. 5x plus 4, 5x plus 4. If I continue to solve, I would get something, okay, let's combine our x's. So minus 5x, minus 5x. And these are canceling, which leaves 4 equals 4. That's a true statement. That means when I get a true statement, there will be an infinite number of solutions. Therefore, infinite solutions. I need to see your last statement to show your evidence for why it's an infinite number of solutions. You can't just put infinite number of solutions. You've got to have evidence as to why it is. Finally, no solution. What is this going to look like? All right, I'm going to put my x's next to each other. 8x, negative 10x, and then negative 3 equals the distributive property. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, plus 3. Combine these together. 8 minus 10 is negative 2x minus 3 equals negative 2x, and then 4 plus 3 is 7. Now I would like to shift my x's to be on the same side. Going to add 2x, and we see that negative 2x and 2x are canceling. Same thing here. We get a statement that says negative 3 equals 7. That's false. That is not true. Negative 3 does not equal 7. When you get a false statement, that is when it will be no solution. Therefore, no solution. I can have exactly one solution. I can have an infinite number of solutions when I get a true statement. And I can have no solution when I get a false statement.